Hey, welcome back to Woodshop Wednesdays. Today is July 15th, 2025, and back out here on the Jeep again doing some body work. I'll show you what I've got going. Okay, I had to shut that fan off so you could hear me. Since I got these fenders mounted and everything, now's the opportunity to make sure everything is lining up here nicely. For the most part it is. It's a little bit low on this side, as you can see. It's low here as well, so I did a whole swath of the short strand fiberglass. And even though this Jeep was, I believe it was a base model, I'm gonna do a tribute to the Renegade. And in doing that, it requires that you put the rocker panel moldings on. And so I was able to find some of those. But when I did a test fit of them, it's low here where it meets the fender. So that's why I'm doing this. So when I put those rocker panels or moldings on, I want it to be a nice, where there's no gap and stuff there. So I did notice that there's a lot of Jeeps out there that do have a gap right in here where it meets up here on the fender, because it actually goes all the way to the back to that rear fender flare, up to comes from all the way back there up to the fender flare here as well. And there's generally not any gappage problem along the rocker until you get right here, but that's because this is contoured such that it's lifted away from the panel. And I just want things to kind of be seamless there and sit nicely, so that's why I'm working on this. All right, here's what we're looking like. Got everything kind of finessed here, so I've got a nice flat surface where the rocker panel meets the fender. Also, I know this profile around the fender is supposed to stick out a little bit, but if it sticks out too far, like I said, when you put that rocker molding over it and it comes all the way up here, it's gonna create a gap right here. So I've taken up some of that space by finessing this and flattening it out and getting it closer to the where this is raised slightly. But anyway, it's looking pretty good. I think it'll I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna block sand it with 120 and then put some epoxy primer on it, see what it looks like. Now I'm over here on the driver's side doing the same thing. So this is my third session of applying some fiberglass short strand to try to get things all flushed up and the way it ought to be. So it's just a laborious process. After this sits for about 15 minutes, I'll block sand it again and see where we're at. Again, I use these pencil lines so when I'm block sanding, I can see when I've gotten flatness. It's a telltale sign. Okay, that was blocking with this long DuraBlock, and you can see this is actually slightly high, but it is flat relative to this now because the whole area has been done. The only area that's still a little low, as you can tell, is where these pencil marks are down here and a little bit down in here. So I'm gonna address that. Probably not with the fiberglass though, because it's so minuscule. Probably do it with the regular filler Evercoat. So it's coming together for sure. Before I do a final block sanding on it, I'll probably glaze it and just to make sure I've got everything nice and smooth. So it's getting there though. Okay, what I'm using here is a piece of a paint stick and some 80 grit paper. And so what I do is I just go along this body line and just keep working it until I get a nice straight line. Okay, I decided to do something else before I get some epoxy and primer on this. And that is to get this factory antenna off. I had to cut it off, at least initially, and then there's a screw that goes into the center of it that I was able to get out of there using some heat and WD-40. But anyway, I think what I'm going to do is, rather than install another OEM antenna, I am going to fiberglass that shut with the cloth and the fiberglass resin, and then finesse it. So it was kind of protruding a little bit on the metal, so I've actually knocked it back, made it a little bit low on purpose. That way I can fill and smooth that out. I just think it'll look better, and I'll do something else for an antenna. Okay, I just wanted to show what I'm using here. This is that Evercoat fiberglass resin. This is the fiberglass cloth, and then there's a hardener that you use as well, this liquid hardener. And you just, depending on how much you're using, you know, I usually put about 10 drops or whatever, but that's the stuff right there. And this is applied to the vehicle, so you can see it's got fiberglass resin there. You can sort of see the cloth, and it's gonna dry, and then I'm gonna put some short strand over top of it. All right, I got that finessed and filled, sanded back and everything. Getting ready to put some epoxy on this now. I'm gonna do the areas that I've done body work, as well as both fenders and the grill. So I do know that there's one little bit of lowness right in here, but I'm not worried about it. I just wanna get some primer on it, block sand it, and then I'll glaze as needed. Okay, there we go. Got 2 coats of the 2K primer surfacer from Eastwood on there. Things are looking pretty good. I've got some areas that I need to address, but no big deal. They're minor issues. That line is looking really nice. The flatness of the panels are looking really good. This is the area where I filled in on that antenna. You can't even tell, but I'll still block sand it. So yeah, it's coming along well. I would imagine one more good block sanding and some finesse, a little bit of finesse work here and there, and this will be ready. That line looks pretty good too. It's got a little bit of a curve in it, and kind of in the center there, but I can finesse that as well. So, but the flatness, everything is there. The cow's looking pretty good. So yeah, just another good block sanding and some minor glazing finesse work to do, and this thing will be ready. Of course, I'm not going to paint it until probably mid-September to October, you know, waiting for the weather to cool down some. It is ridiculously hot out here, but I guess I'll close on this side here. This was the side that was damaged, and it is no longer damaged. So next step will be to polish the rocker moldings and then drill for those along the rocker there on both sides. So all right, we'll catch you guys next time.